Hello everyone, my name is Nicholas Fernholm and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about the 3 top ways to become a millionaire with new AI tools. Now, if I were to guarantee you to become a millionaire, I would be lying. There is a lot of things happening, there is a lot of uncertainty, but I can guarantee you that if you start using these tools and if you start changing the way that you work, I can almost guarantee you that you will be better off in the future than you are today. So these are my top 3 tips of how to hopefully become a millionaire with AI. Before we get to my 3 tips, I want to shortly tell you about how I started using these generative pre-trained transformers, these GPTs. And I started off probably like most of you about 2 or 3 years ago when ChatGPT 3.5 came out. Now, when this happened, I, just as you, didn't know what I was doing. I was prompting, I was getting really general responses, but I was still quite intrigued with what you were able to do with these types of tools. So I started investigating more different types of tools and what you could do. I started Googling, I started looking at a lot of YouTube videos from other experts who knew a bit more about how to prompt, and we were kind of exploring this together. So by doing this for about a half a year or a year, I started to actually understand how to prompt. I started to understand how I could get through all of these quite hard ways to communicate with these GPTs, because it is a process of unlearning how we use other IT systems. We are so used to having IT systems on our computers that are so unforgiving to making mistakes, right? If you have a program and you want to do a specific thing, then there is usually maybe 1 or 2, possibly 3 ways of doing that thing. So if you want to edit a photo, then there might be a couple of ways to make the image larger or creating the saturation or whatever you want to do, but they're quite limited. And if you want to do that thing and you don't know how to do it, then you have to start Googling, you have to find tutorials, you have to kind of find the needle in the haystack of the instruction of doing that thing. Now, these GPTs, these large language models, they are stochastic in nature. Now, what that means is that there is a billion ways of getting the right answer out of the model. There are pretty much unlimited ways of communicating your wishes to the models and getting out what you wanted to get. Now, this requires us to fundamentally rethink and relearn how we communicate with these computer systems. And that took me about, I say, probably a half year, a year, before I started to really understand how I communicate with these models. Now, that is something that I don't think that we can get past. We need to spend all of that time training, trying, learning, communicating with this new entity that we are trying to use, this new intelligence that we have. So that is something that there is no shortcut. We just have to do it. And the best tip for getting there is by not trying to create the perfect answer or the perfect prompt. Create quick prompts and work iteratively. So create a prompt, get an answer. If you're not satisfied with that answer, then you ask another one and ask another one and ask it to change the answer. Working in this type of iterative way is really, really effective, and doing it quickly, because speed is a very important part of this. Because if we don't get a correct answer within a specific timeline, then it might have actually just been quicker to just Google it instead, right? So we have to use speed as a resource. Time is an essential thing here. So that is my really, really quick tip of how to really get started with this. So my 3 tips of how to become a millionaire with these models is the following. So tip number 1, do what you are already doing, but do it better with AI. So what do I mean by that? Well, there are a lot of people who work with administration, HR, economy, legal departments, different companies doing a lot of different things where they're sitting in front of a computer. Now, all of these jobs can be enhanced with AI if you are able to use the correct tools. So if you are sitting in a lot of meetings, you can have an AI secretary that you can activate that actually takes all of the notations from the meeting and places them into to-dos and sends them to the different people who are in the meeting. This is available today through Google's AI and also through Microsoft's Copilot, right? But there are so many companies that are not doing this because they don't have anyone in their organization that really wants to do it, knows how to do it, is good enough at prompting and understanding these models to actually take the leading flag and actually implement it. That could be you. And by doing that in your organization, by becoming the go-to guy or girl to actually make sure that we use these tools, I promise you, could actually make you a millionaire at the end of the day. Because if you are able to take that leading role of implementing AI, you might not become a millionaire at your current job, but if you change your job to your next job and you use that as a selling point for your next job, which you are applying for, that you implemented this AI system, you made sure that you increased our efficiency by X by creating an automated secretary for all of the meetings. If you're able to prove that you've done that, that is something that people are willing to pay a lot for today. If you are someone who knows how to use these systems, who have actually implemented them, that is extremely valuable. And I can promise you, by just increasing your salary by, I'd say maybe even 20, 30, 40%, by having that skill set, that would probably make you $1 million within maybe 5 to 10 years. So that is my first tip. Do what you're already doing, but use AI to enhance it. So my second tip of using AI to become a millionaire is by creating a startup which has an AI agent. Now, what is an AI agent? Well, an AI agent is a LLM, an AI that can actually do things in the world for you. This is going to become the wild, wild west of startups within the next year or two. Now, this requires a fair amount of foreknowledge when it comes to programming, to understanding how these AIs work, how to set up different API connections. But if you have that type of knowledge, or if you know someone who has that type of knowledge, you're able to create these types of AI agents. A great tool for doing this is, for instance, make.com. I am not sponsored in any way, but that is one of the tools which makes it quite easy with low-code solutions to create AI agents which use all of the current LLMs out there to actually do specific tasks. Now, there is one idea of creating an AI agent that I still haven't seen anyone create, and that is an interest rate hunter. Right? So you could create an AI agent which goes out and contacts all of the banks in Europe or wherever you're based and asks them that, hey, Nicholas, he has, this is his interest rate on his mortgage. Could you offer him a better interest rate? Please contact me and I will set up a meeting between you. I could have that type of agent that actually contacts all of these banks every 5 minutes of every hour of every day. Now that is something that I would pay a fair amount of money to actually have as a consumer. If you want, you can steal that idea and create it. I will be your first customer. But you can see here that there are so many different applications of these AI agents that we could create today. And I promise you that there are thousands of AI agents out there that you could create that would become a great success and that would make you a lot of money. So that is another area that is going to create a lot of AI millionaires in the future. So my last tip of how to become a millionaire with AI is actually by becoming a content creator. Now, this is high risk, high reward, but today there is a lot of opportunity in using the content creation tools that are out there to actually make a lot of money. So an example of that is by using these music creating apps. So there are AIs out there, for instance, Suno.ai, that creates songs. Now, this is something that is quite funny and people find that it is just entertaining, but I think that this will actually be a way of making a lot of money in the future. So if you've used these types of tools, you know that they have fairly high fail rate. So if you create 5, 10, 15 songs, many of them will not be songs at all. They will be quite bad. But if you learn how to prompt, if you learn how to properly guide the AI to create songs, you can actually create fairly good songs that artists would pay a fair amount to actually get to copy and create real music from. So you could actually become a music creator or a music producer by using these types of AIs. And that is not only for music, it is also the same thing for images, it's the same thing for copywriting, it's the same thing for videos. People will want to pay a fair amount of money for someone who is actually an expert at creating content with these tools. And that is a new type of labor that we see arising today. Prompt engineers, people who are experts at prompting these types of tools. And I think that is actually something that will become more and more required in the future, where organizations and private people such as myself will want to have contact with someone who is an expert at prompting. Because when there is a new tool out there, say for instance Suno, I haven't used Suno yet, but there are people out there who have actually used Suno. And I would really want to find someone who is an expert at using that AI to create a specific video that I want. Now, I would pay that person to do that. And that could be you. That could be you with your own company that you started, who help people to prompt, help people to create content. And that is something that could actually make a lot of money. So those are my 3 best tips today of how to become a millionaire by using these types of AI tools. Now, I hope, if anything, that you become a millionaire, and if not even a millionaire, that you actually get to create some extra value in your life and for others in your life by using these types of AI tools. Because that is pretty much what they do. They create value for us. And if they wouldn't have created value for us, then we wouldn't use them. Then they would not be as popular as they are. So get out there, create as much value for others as you can. And I hope to see you in the next video. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.